Hello. So there's a couple of different things to focus on. I think first things first, we have transiting moon in Leo. This is really nice. I think especially since we've had the T square like we talked about in the last video for the last couple of days. That was pretty intense with the moon in Cancer and the Mars Aries and the Jupiter Saturn Capricorn, all that pressure. Again, not necessarily bad, just like we talked about in that video, but certainly there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of stuff to resolve and whatnot. So this is nice. We now have the moon in Leo. It's trine sun in Sag. This is going to be a weekend of a lot of laughter, a lot of fun, as long as we control our egos. I mean, we can't really control anything, but as long as we guide our egos effectively, as long as we make sure that we're seeking to listen as well as voice our truth, seek to understand other people's truth, then this can be a wonderful weekend. The other thing I wanted to focus on is we have Venus Scorpio and we have Mars Aries. And I had a dream last night. I usually have really, really lovely, trippy dreams. And I guess this was a bit of more of a nightmare, actually. And it had a really good lesson, though. And it brought to mind this, and I wanted to talk about it. Where the nightmare had a bit of violence in it. The details don't really matter. But long story short, it just got me thinking of, wow, we have Mars Aries and we have Venus Scorpio, two Mars ruled energies that there's so many great things about them, but to have them combined, I think especially with the Venus and Scorpio, that's known as a bit more of a challenging energy. So I think a lot of people are dealing with the struggles of this energy before accessing the beautiful things of the depth of feeling and the ability to connect really intensely and deeply with one's own emotions, with other people's emotions, especially with relationships. So I think a lot of people are struggling with the difficult part of that, which is potential paranoia, being overly cautious, being worried for no good reason, letting imagination get the best of them, or potentially having a very real issue with somebody else, having an issue of severely differently seeing things, and having some intense arguments or potentially some really hostile, necessary interactions. So I think the key is this. The key is to always remember that violence does not solve anything. It might be very tempting, especially with Mars and Aries, to just lash out, to just be wild, to just say exactly what you feel. I think especially if you've been dealing with, and we've all been dealing with this to some major extent, but especially if you feel like this has been a big burden on you with, as per the Mars and Aries and the Jupiter and Saturn and Cap stalemate that's pretty much been going on. We've had this square for a while now. I mean, we've also had the Mars retrograde. We're still in the Mars retrograde shadow period. What does this all mean? It means that since basically September, we've had this drive. We've had this Mars and Aries energy of go, 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 go. Let's move forward. It's exciting and it's good. It's not bad. But it does have that challenge of potentially being impatient, potentially trying to force things, letting ego get in the way, throwing temper tantrums, stuff that isn't helpful for actually moving forward and going. But regardless, that's what can manifest. That's what can happen if we're not really mindful. And I think especially with Jupiter and Saturn and Cap too, there can be a feeling of, will this never end? Will this delay never end? Will this frustration never end? Will, whatever it is, these energies all love moving towards goals. The Cap, the Aries, and it can be quite frustrating. I mean, even where we are right now, I've been saying in readings a lot lately how with this Mars shadow period, we're really just coasting for the rest of the year. Jupiter and Saturn move into Aquarius in just about 2 weeks. This is really exciting. We'll talk about this more as time goes on, but it's going to be really lovely for this upcoming year. I am super excited. I mean, on a personal level, but also, for all of us, I've been looking forward to this for like 6 years. So really, really excited. But we're not quite there yet. And I think, I did a reading for a friend yesterday. She was saying how she feels like there's so much right around the corner. But I think that's a big lesson for all of us and that's why I said to her, is we have to be patient. We're not quite there yet. And God knows, I also want to be right there, it's so exciting, but we've got to honor where we are right now. So I think that helps a lot to mitigate the potential challenges of the Venus and Scorpio and the Mars and Aries is just being patient, keeping in mind that for everything there is a season. Time will take care of everything. Don't try and force anything. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with other people, especially if they're not being patient. The worst thing we could do is just add fire to the fire. Do not fight fire with fire. Fight fire with water. Be compassionate. Be introspective. Seek to be really reflective. Even if somebody's being very hostile towards you, be sweet. Be kind. Be compassionate. Obviously, you know, if somebody's trying to like punch you in the face, self-defense is important, but barring a physical violent encounter where you'll need to get, you know, official authority help, just stay calm and breathe and everything will be cool. As always, I'm doing readings. Feel free to get in contact with me. Peace.